Weaning has begun, hasn't it, Cooper? And how is weaning going at the moment? Not very well. He gets it all over his face, don't you? But he is refusing to open his mouth. So I have tried him on vegetables. I've tried him on carrot, peas, sweet potato, haven't I? And there's an odd occasion where he's opening his mouth and actually having a little bit. But majority of the time, it just ends in a messy disaster, doesn't it? He knows. You know. Yeah. So this is the usual of what happens. I'll show you. Oh no, you did not just open your mouth for the camera. Okay, he doesn't normally do that.
Yummy.
Very, very good battle squad.
Did you see that there?
One thing that has been really successful, well, I say really successful, I haven't tried it loads, but every time I've given him it, which has been maybe 3 times, he's actually really enjoyed this. Now, I was really trying not to give him anything from a packet just to begin with, just because I've got time to puree things myself. So I just thought, well, I might as well. However, I was out and about the other day and it was got to be his tea time. It was just a bit of a pain in the bum taking one of my purees with me. So I decided I'd take one of these. Now, this is a brand called, I want to say Babies. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, I've just worked it out. It says Babies, but, like, spelt differently. Honestly, how I look after a child, I do not know. And all there is in this is pumpkin, pea and water, and that is it. Look at those ingredients right there. That's exactly what you want it to be looking like. Something that you're feeding your baby. Just no sugar or anything like that. Just pumpkin, peas and water. And he really liked it, and I actually gave it him cold out of the packet. Now, the only problem that I've found with these packets is they're quite big, and they go off in a day, obviously because they're not full of, preservatives and other crap that keeps it from going off. So I suppose it's a positive, really, isn't it? And I tasted it, and it's actually really, really nice. Yeah, so this has been a success, much more of a success than Mummy's cooking. Good morning. This is I knew this was gonna happen as soon as I started filming. I'd distract you, wouldn't I, mate? I'm sorry. So, weaning, how many weeks into it do you think we are, sweetie pie?
I'm not sure.
3 weeks. There he is, peeking out my second head. There he is. Probably about 3 weeks into it now. It's not gone amazingly well, but just because Cooper decided he didn't really like food, didn't you? And he just stopped opening his mouth. But porridge, yes, that is one of his faves. I think because it's sweet. They always say don't give them sweet stuff in the beginning, which we haven't. We've only just introduced banana. I was a big mouth open. Good boy, Coops. You've been a good boy. Yeah, so he's just starting to kind of get used again to feeding. So that's a little look at our weaning journey so far. It's kind of up and down. Coop's got a bit of a love-hate relationship with food at the moment. I think it really depends on how hungry he is, if I'm being honest. So always feed your baby when you think they're going to be hungry. Now, we had the slight issue of Cooper deciding, well, not Cooper deciding actually, my body deciding I wasn't going to produce any more milk. So we went from boob to bottle pretty rapidly at the same time as weaning him. So it was a hell of a lot for me to kind of get my head round. And I think Coops too, I think he was a bit like, what on earth is going on? This isn't, number 1, your boob, and number 2, you're shoving solids in my mouth. What's going on? So it's been a bit tricky. So a big disclaimer here, I am no expert. Only offering my advice, things that have helped me with the weaning process, and kind of foods that I think are great, etc, etc. So one thing I've found really good, sorry, 2 things because they're books. The first one is Holly Willoughby's book, Truly Scrumptious Baby. Now this one is a really nice one because it actually she talks about her weaning process with her little ones. Sorry, Danny just came in and out of the door then, and it distracted me somewhat. So that's her book, and she's got some really nice recipes in there. I don't follow everything Holly's done to word for word because I think she gives her or gave her babies the food, then a bottle, whereas I do it the opposite way around with Cooper. I think really it's what suits you and your baby, or really your baby. What suits you goes out the window. If you're in a rush, your baby isn't rushing. They do not rush their food, that's for sure. So it's really good. Like, I've just taken what I need to from her book. So I'd suggest that, and it is Mum's Net rated. The second book is Annabelle Carmel. That's a real, like, singy name, isn't it? She is apparently the Queen of Wean, and this is a recipe book from kind of weaning age to toddler. So this will serve you well for quite a while. So there are 2 books that I would strongly recommend. Now, weaning, I am trying my hardest to whiz in the kitchen and make my own purees. I mean, it's really not that hard because it's basically steamed, blended vegetables, and that's about it. However, to make my life a little bit easier, I have this fabulous little contraption. Now, when I first got this, I thought, is this gonna just sit on my worktop gathering dust? And no is the answer. So this little contraption is a steamer and pureer all in one. So you pop your chopped up veggies in and some water, press a button, it steams your veg, pull them out, tip them back in to the blendy bit, and whisk them up, and then that is your purees made and ready to go. The reason I would recommend one of these is because we do have a blender, and that would work just as well, but doing it all in one in just a little tiny machine, rather than getting your steamer out or getting your pans out to steam your veg, then getting your blender out, and they're usually big and difficult to clean, getting that out, because not everybody keeps their blender on the side, do they? We barely use ours, so I don't. Get your blender out and then have to faff about cleaning that. This is so easy to clean and so quick and easy to use. I actually really like it. It's a good product. It's pronounced Bieber or Baber, one of the 2, probably neither of those. I'm sure someone's going to write it in the comments below correcting my pronunciation. So sorry if I've offended the grammar police there. Another thing, so to put your purees in, is a silicone ice cube tray. Now this one, it isn't actually an ice cube tray because it's a little bit bigger, unless you want absolutely enormous cubes of ice. And it's got a lid to it, which I think is brilliant, because you know when you put something in the freezer and it ice tastes of all the food in there. So you don't really want that with your baby's purees, do you? And they're obviously squidgy. I'm sure you all know what a silicone tray is. And all you have to do is just pop them out when you need your meal. Pop them into a little container. Let your puree defrost, and Bob's your uncle, ready to go. So I'd strongly recommend these, and also, because this isn't a conventional ice cube tray, it's a bit bigger, which is great for when your babies get a bit older and they're eating more food. You can make bigger portions. I just don't fill these up quite as full, so that's great. Another thing is you have to give them water when they're eating food, so that's a new thing to introduce them. And you give them that through a sippy cup. All these things you've got to learn. I feel like there needs to be like a school that mums should go to learn all these things. It's baffling. Now, I started off, both my sippy cups are from Tommy Tippy, but this is the winner right here. So this little one, the tea is made from the same material as the bottles, so I thought this would be a really good transitional sippy cup, but it leaks a bit and Coops just can't quite get his head around this. The same texture as his teat, but not the same shape, so I think it just confuses him a bit. So I tried another Tommy Tippy sippy cup, because a lot of people I know have these. Do you know what? Cooper's getting a tooth. I can actually see like tiny little marks where his little tooth's obviously chewed on it. They do chew on these a lot when you first give them to them. And it's just a little plastic pull-up sippy bit, and they just suck from there, and it doesn't leak, this one, and it's brilliant. So this is the winner. I don't know what it's called other than a sippy cup, but it's by Tommy Tippy, this one. I didn't mention this, and I should have done when I was talking about the ice cube trays for puree. If you're on the go and you want to take a puree out with you, these little plastic containers, these ones are from Mam, are brilliant. You just pop out your ice cube into one of these containers. It's a screw top, so it doesn't leak, and you can just pop that in hot water when you want to warm it up. And they're little, easy to put in your change bag, and really easy to clean. So they're brilliant little product to remember to buy, because these are the types of things you forget, and then you're going out for the day and you're like, God, I haven't got anything to put my puree in. So for anybody that doesn't like to puree their own stuff, or that doesn't have time, or just doesn't want to do it, then you can buy amazing purees from the shops. Now, in the beginning bit of this video, where it's a little montage of me weaning Cooper, I briefly mentioned these babies pouches, so I won't go over them again too much, but they're just full of just goodness, vegetables, fruit, and maybe a little bit of coconut water, or for the ones for older babies, a few herbs, and that's about it really, which I just think is brilliant. That's what you want in your baby purees, isn't it? Just natural, good ingredients. Last but by no means least are these little snacks. Now, I think it's brilliant for like in between meals. If your baby's having a bit of a whinge, you just need that extra 5 minutes, which we all do sometimes. Here, have a crisp. Little do you know, it's a vegetable, just dried and mixed with a bit of corn. And that's basically all they are. These are dried green peas and corn, and that is it. Now, I know I said Coop doesn't like peas, but give them it in a crisp form and you're winning. So yeah, there's a little tip for you there. So yeah, so that's what I give him as like a little snack. So I hope that has helped you guys. And like I said, I'm by no means an expert, but I just wanted to share with you my journey and a few little tips that have helped me along the way so far. I will be filming a follow-up to this, so stay tuned for that. But for now, I hope I've helped you all with your weaning journeys, and I will see you next week. Bye! Thanks so much for watching, Bump. If you want to watch the playlist, then click here. And if you want to watch last week's episode, then click here.